Hey y'all, welcome back to Chasing Contentment. My name's Kate if you're new here. This channel is all about chasing contentment in a world that tells us we're not enough and that we need more. So today I'm going to be talking about our financial journey using Dave Ramsey's program. Today I'm going to be talking about the baby steps and how we got out of consumer debt in a pretty short period of time. So if that's interesting to you, please like this video and subscribe. Okay, to start off, you may be wondering, who is Dave Ramsey? If you clicked on this video, you probably know who he is, but he is a financial guru who is all about getting out of debt. And he has 7 baby steps to follow to be able to do that. And he's found so much success in that with all the people that have used his program. So step 1 is to save an emergency fund. That would be $1,000 is what's recommended. Some people save more because they don't feel comfortable with just having $1,000 as their emergency fund. Step 2 is to get out of consumer debt. So he has you list all of your debts from smallest to greatest, and he wants you to start, it's called the snowball effect. So you pay your minimum payments on all of them and you spend most of your money on the smallest amount. Then whatever you have left with that, you roll into the next debt until you get all of your debt paid off. Step 3 is to save 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund beyond the $1,000. So you calculate your 4 basic needs: housing, food, clothing, and transportation. And then you calculate all of that and you multiply that by 3 to 6 times. And that's what you're going to save for your emergency fund. Step 4 is to put 15% of your income into retirement. Step 5 is to save for your child's college fund. Step 6 is to pay off your mortgage early. And step 7 is to give like no one else and be generous with your money. In 2013, my husband and I got married. After that, I was still in grad school and he was an intern at a college ministry in Kentucky. So he was support raise only. So we lived on pretty much nothing and weren't making anything for about a year. And then during that time, I didn't know when I was going to be getting a job after I graduated. So some really close friends of ours offered to let us live in their house for a pretty cheap rent while we were transitioning and trying to find a job. So what happened is we were able to live with them as I got my first job as a speech language pathologist. So I was working in a nursing home. I grew up knowing about Dave Ramsey. He was a household name and my parents would sometimes use him, sometimes not. They kind of went back and forth. But I had always been taught some of his principles. And so when we got married, that was my #1 goal, was to get out of debt as quickly as possible. So I was blessed enough to not have any debt coming out of school, but my husband did have some debt. He had about $25,000 worth of student loans. When you get married, Dave Ramsey always says, and I believe too, that it's not my money and his money, it's our money. So after we got married, what we did is we focused on getting out of debt with our debt. So we lived pretty cheaply with our friends. Like I said, we really focused on eating and having a budget for food that was very small, and we really lived on beans and rice for about a year. And so what we would do is we would live on a third of our income and then throw everything else towards our debt. So anything that I could do. I was selling clothes, I was selling furniture, I was creating things, I was doing anything that I could to get out of debt as quickly as possible and to make extra income. And so after a year and a half, we were able to pay off our loan completely. And we celebrated by saving up for a vacation, and it was such a rewarding time to be able to know that we had achieved that goal. So that was back in October of 2015 that we were able to completely get out of debt. So fast forward to 2020, we just now were able to save for our 6-month emergency fund. And the reason it took so long is because, one, my motivation wasn't as high. I think during that time that you're trying to get out of debt and really hit the ground hard, you're so motivated because you see all these things. And then saving money towards an emergency fund is not as exciting and immediately rewarding. So we took a longer time. During that time, we also have been paying for my husband's school with cash. He's going to seminary to get his Master's of Divinity, and he's still in school for that. So it's been a long process, but we've paid for that with cash. We've also bought a new car during that time, and we also moved out of state. So we had a lot. Actually, we bought a house during that time, and then we sold it and moved to another house in another state. So we had a lot of transitions and a lot of cash flowing that we had to do during that time to be able to not get in debt more through those transitions. So the only debt we have now is our mortgage, and we currently have 6 months emergency savings. So this year I'm going to be talking about some goals that I have for us financially, because now we're on baby step 4, which is putting 15% of your income towards retirement. And we're really needing to work on that, and I need to educate myself more about investing and things like that. So that's going to be something I'm going to document as well. So it's been a journey, and it's been really hard, and it's been really rewarding at the same time. So that's our story, and I'm going to be keeping you updated on our current goals and how we're going to go on from baby step 4 on.